From the mind of a 2-foot-tall talking spokes puppet comes this year's biggest challenge. It's time for Bob's Dare to Compare, the hottest game show on TV that asks, what happens when you compare Bob's to the competition? You get style. You get quality. You get beeps and boops and dings and whomps. And thousands of dollars in savings. Everyone's a winner when you dare to compare with Bob's Discount Furniture. Shop in store or at mybobs.com to play now.
Presented by T-Mobile, the official wireless partner of Odyssey Sports. With an awesome network and great savings, there's never been a better time to join T-Mobile. Visit your neighborhood store to make the switch today.
Hello again, everybody. It's a Friday edition, the Bob and Jeff Show, KFH Radio. Bob Lutz, Jeff Lutz co-hosting, as always, Max Power, not in the studio. Andrew Fry is producing and engineering the show. 869-1240. Happy to have you with us as we get to the end of the week. A couple of big football games on tonight involving our teams. KU at home against UNLV and K-State. Arizona in what looks to be a Big 12 game, but actually isn't.
They won't play in a Big 12 game
before Arizona moved to the Big 12.
That's correct. That's how that works.
Crazy, isn't it?
Wild.
You got to go to the wind surge tonight?
Sure.
Only 3 more games.
That's right.
How'd our guy do last night?
Walker, hitless. Hitless again. Wind surge only got 1 hit.
1 hit?
Yeah, there was not a game anyone there on the field was interested in playing.
Really?
I don't think so. Both playing for nothing. Tulsa clinched the Propeller Series, so these last 3 games are meaningless in every way possible.
Well, why do I want to go Saturday night when they're expecting 8,000 people?
Well, they'll put on a nice show. Why don't you go tonight for Taylor Swift night?
Tonight's out of the question.
There's a rumor
games on.
There's a rumor she might show up in one of the suites tonight.
That's probably going to happen. I'll be watching the football games and the Cardinals. That's what I do, and we'll enjoy the evening.
Good luck.
You say they don't care about what happens in the next 3 games. Derek Bender really didn't care. He was tipping pitches so that he could get that season over with. For the Twins prospects.
Yeah,
6th-round draft pick this year, doing that down at Fort Myers. Twins dumped him, which they should do.
Well, no one will
Why
ever.
do you throw your career away? How stupid do you have to be?
I'm not sure. I don't really understand that on any level whatsoever.
He wanted to. This guy has worked his entire life to get to pro baseball. I presume. I mean, that's always been the goal, I would think, once it was determined that he had the talent level to make that happen realistically. And he gets there, and in his first year, he decides, man, I'm done. I'm tired. I want this season to end. Hey, buddy, he's throwing a slider here.
Crazy.
I mean, it's not. I don't even understand it. Can you? Have you talked to anybody who gets it?
No.
Tell me about you. This is closer to your generation.
What do you mean, my generation? People do stupid stuff all the time. It doesn't have anything to do.
I've never heard of anyone else doing this.
Well, I didn't say they do this. I just said they do stupid stuff. That's not.
Nobody from my generation that I know of has done a stupid thing.
Really, ever?
Not that I'm aware of.
Crazy. You should maybe write a story about that.
Didn't that upset you, though?
I'm not upset. I mean, it's dumb. Why should I be upset? That's
because the integrity of the game, man.
He's done. He's out of baseball. That went up the chain of command in the Twins organization.
Was that a point of conversation last night?
Talked about it a little bit last night.
Any Twins people up there weighing in?
No.
Wonder what those players thought.
I'm sure they weren't very happy. They didn't even let him sit in the dugout the last 2 games of the season.
Of course not.
A team that was in contention for the postseason until
he didn't want any part of postseason.
He did not.
So
Which is only 1 round, I think. It's not like.
Well, exactly.
Might have had to play 3 or 4 more games.
By the way, my Palm Beach Cardinals about to take care of that Florida State League championship. And then thank you. I mean, good deal, right? You feel good about that.
And couldn't care less.
Well, why?
Do you care that Lake County won the Midwest League or whatever league they're in?
No, I don't care. And they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
They don't even have a playoff in that league.
Well, whatever league the Lake County's in.
It's in the Midwest League.
Oh, they won it. They were doing champagne bottles last night,
Good for them.
as far as I know.
I'm more into the Palm Beach Cardinals. Keep track of their box scores every night.
That's a sad state of affairs.
No, it isn't, because J.J. Weatherholt's on that team.
Great. But Travis Bazzana's on Lake County. I don't really check their box scores because my actual team is in the race. And
I always check box scores for the minor leaguers. Hey, I'm hooked, man. I'm just a baseball, and I know you are too. I'm not, but I'm crazed about the game. I just I don't know what happened. I mean, I've always loved baseball, but when I was writing, you go from season to season, and you start to turn your attention, and you cover football, and it's football season, and you're kind of immersed in it. Now that I'm no longer doing that, I don't get as immersed, but I'm just always into baseball.
yeah, I get it.
Kind
I
of weird.
understand.
Before you came, I was trying to find an article that I heard was on MLB Pipeline about rating minor league pitching throughout the 30 teams. I'd heard that they'd rated the Cardinals number 3, but I couldn't find the story.
Interesting.
I presume because, Quinn Matthews has developed into quite a prospect, and some others. But I don't know. I mean, I was looking for that story.
I wonder why you couldn't find it.
Anyway, I thought you'd be more outraged about Derek Bender.
Not outraged. There's nothing to be outraged.
This show needs your emotion. We need to come on this show and start talking about things.
Well, let's talk about
I mean,
it.
if you're going to be, I take.
What am I supposed to say about it?
Look, listen to me. I'm outraged.
Are you?
Can't you tell? I've been wanting to talk about this since I read about it. I just can't even fathom it. And then some former teammate of his got on Twitter and said every 21-year-old makes mistakes like this. And he's just getting
No, they don't.
And he's getting chastised.
Yeah,
for that
that's
comment.
stupid. Every one of them does. That's interesting because I've never heard about this in my life. I found that there is an article, but I can't find the actual. And Travis Bazzana homered last night. How about that?
I told you, man. I try to tell you. I try to forewarn you. I try to gird you for what's about to happen with your Cleveland Guardians. This isn't any kind of series you want right now with Tampa Bay.
Oh, I don't care.
They're going to shut you down. You're not
No,
going to
they're
do
not.
anything offensively. They already have for one game.
They didn't really shut us down.
You had one run. You had no.
We had 2.
You had no hits after the 4th inning.
Who cares?
I mean, what do you call shutting down? Now
Who cares? We're up 4. Just win tonight, and it takes care of itself. The top organization, top 11 farm systems with the best pitching prospects. This was published 3 days ago. Number 1, the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Duh.
Number 2, the Chicago White Sox.
Again, they've
Number 3,
They
the
got-
St. Louis Cardinals.
really.
You just said that.
Well, I feel like I'm learning it for the first time.
Number 4,
Can you transfer that article to me?
I'll send it. Are the Guardians on here?
No.
They should be.
No, of course they're not on there.
They've got a lot of good pitching in the minor leagues. Not a lot of good prospects.
You lost 5-2 last night. You had 5 hits. You had nothing outside of. Man, nobody had. It's tough.
We lost.
It's got to be nerve-wracking for you.
Not really. I'm trying to distance myself from it a little bit right now
Emotionally?
Yeah.
How so? Why?
because I got too far into it, too deep, and it started
And
to
what did it do
affect
to you?
my mental health. And
It did?
yes,
Baseball?
yeah, believe it or not.
Now listen, I love the game, and I love the game, but it doesn't. I guess I don't know. I guess I learned a long time ago to not let it dictate my.
Come on.
Well, I don't think I do.
Of course you do.
I don't think.
Where's
think
Duda?
Yeah, well, maybe you need Duda, but I don't think it affects my.
Yeah, it does. You carry that around just as much as anyone else does, and probably more.
Well, have you noticed? I don't know. I don't think so. I get wrapped up, and for about 10 minutes after a loss,
You get on Twitter, you're upset. I mean,
but that's just to have
you
fun.
kind of wallow in it.
I try to have fun on Twitter.
I don't know if that's fun.
I try to be a little bit irreverent with when I tweet about the Cardinals. I'm not on there to be angry.
You're upset. Give me a break.
I'm not on there to be angry.
You're upset.
I'm on there. Listen,
But you are angry.
I don't get angry about the Cardinals.
Oh, I don't believe that.
After about 10 minutes after the game is over. And while I'm watching it, I can get angry.
I think I hate the Cardinals or something like that.
Well, sure, we all have those emotions.
That's anger.
Why are you trying to drag me down into your
Because I know how you are, and then this innocent act isn't flying with anybody.
It's the truth. It's flying with me.
I believe that maybe you believe it, but
that's my wife.
Of course she's going to defend you. I've never heard her say a critical word of anyone.
She's been with me thick and thin throughout. So we've watched Cardinals games together now since 2009. Pretty much all of them. Not all of them, but you know what I mean. 80%. We have it on all the time. And while I can get angry now when they're in the postseason, that's a different matter. But come on, let it hang out, man. If you're don't back away.
Backing away for the rest of
happened?
the regular season. Nothing happened.
What if it gets tight?
Then it'll be normal. Those are normal emotions when you're hanging on every pitch, but you shouldn't be doing that in July.
Why?
Why what?
Why wouldn't you hang on every pitch in July?
You just said you don't.
I didn't say I don't.
I said
I don't get angry.
I didn't.
But I hang on every pitch. That's the beauty
letting
of
it affect
baseball.
your mental health when you're hanging on every pitch. That's not productive or healthy.
That's the beauty of sports. I mean, why play the games if people aren't hanging on everything that happens?
There's 162 games.
So what?
Maybe you need to step away for a little bit.
You're wrong about this.
You absolutely do need to step away.
Shocker fans who go to a basketball game
There's 25 of those a year.
And they hang on everything, or any basketball fan. They shouldn't do that?
I didn't say that.
What game should I hang on?
Football, 16 a year.
I should hang on everything in football.
Yeah. Because every game means something. Not every baseball game means something.
Every baseball game means something.
A lot of basketball games mean something.
Every baseball game means something.
Nah.
Of course they do.
Not tonight, Wind Surge Drillers. That doesn't mean anything.
No, I'm talking about the big leagues.
No.
And tonight's Guardians game means something.
Does tonight's White Sox game mean something?
Sure.
Or the
Who are
Rockies?
they playing?
I don't know. Somebody will beat them. I think they play Oakland.
Yeah, that's fun. Oakland's kind of been resurgent this year. They're not
been
great,
better.
but they've been a lot better.
Yeah, they've been better. Good for them.
Where is that game?
I want to say it's in Chicago, but...
Do you even know that they're playing?
Yes, I saw it earlier.
Well, good for them. Yeah, Oakland at Chicago tonight. Brady Basso. Wonder if he's related to former Wichita Wranglers catcher Chris Basso.
Is that a real
Mike
person?
Basso. Mike Basso. Who I really enjoyed covering. He was funny guy. Look that up for me, would you?
He was an advanced scout. It hurt. Where is this Basso from?
I don't know. I'm just curious. You don't see that name that often. He's from
Basso.
Pearland, Texas.
Well, Pearland. And
Pearland.
other Basso
I
guy
call it
was
Pearland.
other Basso guy was from Texas,
Mike Basso.
out of Dallas. So, yeah, there's a good chance.
Well, that's interesting to me. I'm glad I came across that. It doesn't mean anything to you or to most listeners. And nobody, you know what? You know what I'm almost 100% sure of?
What?
Nobody listening to this show now or ever would have heard of Mike Basso.
No, and
I played in the big leagues.
Yeah, he is the son of Mike Basso.
How about that? That gives me satisfaction.
It is just amazing.
Why do you say that?
I don't know.
My memory?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, to go ahead and say it.
Yeah, that's what
One
I was
time.
thinking.
Pay me a compliment on this show.
What?
One time.
Brady Basso out of Oklahoma State University.
Go ahead and do it.
Pitched on the same staff as former Cleveland Guardian Peyton Battenfield.
Can you go ahead and do
I
it?
don't remember what we're talking about.
Pay me a compliment. Say, man, that's pretty good recall.
That's amazing, man.
About what is? What's
That
amazing?
stuff you did.
What?
That stuff you just did.
What I do?
Where you did the thing.
You know, people are going to think that you're just anti-Bob Lutz
Why would they think that?
because you never seem to be pro-Bob Lutz.
No, I'm always pro Bob Lutz.
You never leave this house and have a thought about, well, that old man still got it. Still
Really? You think I would think something like that?
that I don't have it?
No, I don't think that.
That I do have it?
I don't think that either.
Do you ever think about it?
Not really. Think you're doing fine.
You know, I hate subdued people. I just can't deal with them.
Why?
I mean, I just don't. I don't know. When Duda's over here, you're over here. You're both, tired, sleepy.
I feel a little better today, but not much.
It's difficult for me because I'm raring to go at 2:00.
Why are you raring to go?
I'm always raring to go.
Well, I don't have a fight in me today, necessarily.
Well, you better get some.
What's on the show? Maybe I'll
I'll
fight one
tell
of
you
them.
what's on the show right now. Taylor Eldridge is going to join us momentarily at 2:25 to talk about Wichita State athletics. Shocker volleyball playing Nebraska today.
That's
I
a
think
tough
it's
one.
Today. Is it today? It might be tomorrow. They played nationally ranked Arizona State last night, and that did not go particularly well. Arizona State handled them in straight sets. And then we'll get the latest update on Paul Mills, Wichita State basketball, see how that's all looking. Some recruiting news has come down the pike, so we'll get with Taylor Eldridge here momentarily. At 2:45, I've reached out to Troy Black, head football coach at Collegiate. I have not heard back.
Uh-oh.
So I don't know if that's going to happen or not. If you're at Collegiate and you're listening to this show, you might nudge Coach Black and see if
He's got a lot going on.
well, they play Rose Hill
You
tonight.
know who we should have talked to?
And who?
The Garden City coach, whoever that is.
Why? What happened there?
Garden City traveling to Olathe Northwest to play a 740-mile round trip.
You know what? There's more bonding going on that trip. That's the highlight of the year for those guys.
Very well could be.
You know, we always say, "Oh, how do you travel?" We used to, why does this state guard against that stuff? We have a big state. Go see it. If you're in Garden City, it'd probably be the first time up in that area for some of those kids.
I'm sure it is.
Let's go play them.
Why not?
Probably bust up there yesterday.
You think so?
Sure.
I hope it was today.
Well, you're not going to leave on a 360-mile trip today.
If you leave at 8, you're there by 3.
You're playing football. You need a night to. You can't be crunched up.
You want to get in, sleep in your own bed. You want
8 hours and.
They got out and stretched a couple times and went to eat, and they took it easy.
I'll guarantee you they didn't leave today.
I guarantee you they did because we called them.
What'd they say?
They said the AD's on the bus right now.
Why'd you call them?
I didn't call them.
Well, what were you trying to do? Why?
We were trying to catch up with the bus.
Here?
Wherever they were. I don't know how it worked out.
So you're going to go film the bus rolling through town?
No, we were going to go talk to them when they stopped and see what are you guys doing.
Why would they come through Wichita?
I'm not saying they did. I'm saying wherever they were on I-70.
You were going to drive up to I-70?
We have a reporter based out of Newton, and she could hop up to Salina or wherever they pass through.
I don't know if that's a story or not. Let me think about it. All right, Taylor Eldridge joins us on the IHOP hotline, now entering his, how many years now covering Shocker Athletics? I want to say 7th year. Here's Taylor Eldridge.
Told you.
Joining us from the Wichita Eagle. Taylor, we were talking how many years now on the beat for you, the Shocker beat? Is this number 7?
Yeah, I came over the same year they went to the American Athletic Conference, so I've kind of that's how easy way to market. With Paul did a great job and doing the Missouri Valley, then he hands it off to me for the AAC. So yep, you're number 7.
There you go. So let's start with Wichita State and the AAC. We saw yesterday more realignment with the Pac-12 dipping into the Mountain West Conference. That's pretty close. That's a comparable conference to the AAC. Now a lot of banter about what's next for the Pac-12. All kinds of schools being thrown out there. I said yesterday on this show, without having really anything to base it on except just talking to people throughout my life here on radio, that Tulane and Memphis are very eager to get out of the American Athletic. Seems like they would be pretty good fits if the Pac-12 wants to forego that regional thing. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it does seem like I would agree. Memphis and Tulane, with the football, the level that they're playing at right now, I think they are, looking for better opportunities to move up. And, it kind of reminds me of, what you would hear about Cincinnati and Houston and UCF, schools like that, and UConn as well. When WSU joined, the American was never really, kind of a conference where everyone was happy to be there. It felt like, schools that had kind of been left out in the cold in the football conferences. And, yeah, so anytime you're in a conference like that, it's going to be a lot of movement. And that's what we've seen in the American. 4 schools have left. This is not the conference that Wichita State signed up for, but they had to know back then that this was a risk when you're joining a conference like that with so much, chance for this happening. So, it's going to be very interesting to see where the dominoes fall now because, like you said, Memphis, Tulane, schools like that are going to be looking to be on the move. So how that affects Wichita State, we'll have to wait and see, but it does feel like there is definitely more movement ahead.
Does it still feel like a conference of misfits, the AAC, only just a level lower instead of teams vying to get out? There are teams from lower conferences moving up into the AAC. Is this even a conference that has, long-term viability?
Yeah, if you would have asked me, 5 years ago, I would have said, yeah, I think the American is, they're set up to be kind of that next best, outside of the Power 5 structure. But, you lose Houston, Cincinnati, UCF, and now, if they lose Memphis, Tulane, it's very, very hard to see that being a viable basketball conference, that, multi-bid conference that Wichita State was hoping that they were getting into, back when they made that transition. So, and who knows, we saw how quickly conferences can crumble like the Pac-12 and then be reborn like, what we saw this past weekend with the Pac-12. Now it's looking like they might be reborn. So, just crazy stuff in conference realignment. And, I think the perception nationally is that it is a conference of misfits. I think if you talk to, schools individually, they probably deny that. But, yeah, it just feels like, kind of a bunch of just, schools in the same kind of area that, like I said, they all kind of most of the, the football playing schools are the ones that kind of got left out in the cold. In the old conference realignment, it just feels like, everyone's kind of looking out for themselves, and it doesn't have that same kind of feel that, the Missouri Valley did.
We're talking with Taylor Eldridge from the Wichita Eagle, beat writer, Wichita State Athletics. Wanted to turn to volleyball here. It's been an interesting start for the Shockers. They showed no fear in scheduling, that's for sure. They've already played 3 ranked teams: Kansas, Arkansas, Arizona State last night. They have Long Beach State tonight or this afternoon, and then tomorrow they play number 5 Nebraska in Lincoln. They have lost those 3 previous games against ranked teams in straight sets. What do you make of Shocker volleyball here early in the year?
Yeah, you mentioned it, just like the strength of schedule, incredibly hard. And, obviously Chris Lamb wants to do that every season, really test his team before they get to conference play, because he knows, the American is probably a one-bid conference. So, you want your team to be playing its best. If it takes, 3, 4, 5 losses, that's okay. If they would have won some of these, okay, it's just found money, because then you can kind of build it at large, resume, if you win a couple of those. But, yeah, you look at the schedule, the results, they beat who they should have beat. They lost to probably who they should have lost to. So no real, I don't think we've discovered anything about this team. They're still working through, it seems like, rotations. I know they've had some injuries that they're waiting for some of the, some key players to get back in the lineup. So we'll have to wait and see. But I do think, it's all building up into conference play. And they are, they were second in the preseason poll, so they're going to be right there for the conference title. And with the tournament being in Wichita, that's going to be a huge benefit for them. So I think it's all building up to that week at Koch Arena in November.
Thank goodness they're having a tournament now in the American in volleyball. That's long overdue.
Yeah, exactly.
Basketball, Taylor. It seemed like last year in Paul Mills' kind of first foray into recruiting for Wichita State that, he's just kind of trying to fill the roster, missed on a lot of guys, got some guys late, and it never really came together. And then this year it seems like he targeted guys and then went and got them, and it wasn't just about, we've got an open roster spot, who can we get to fill it? Is that your impression too, and how meaningful will that be to the on-court product?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a huge difference anytime you have a whole year in recruiting, because a lot of that recruiting, whether coaches want to say it or not, it does happen towards those, the February, March of the regular season. You get an idea of what guys might be going into the portal. And if you don't have that leg up on, other coaches when you're recruiting for your program, that's a huge, disadvantage. So I think you're seeing Wichita State, the first full recruiting cycle. Yeah, they were able to go out and target some guys. And obviously the NIL situation has improved from what I've been told, and that made a difference. And yeah, they were able to go out and get some difference makers. And like you said, they had a lot of spots to fill. So, they were pretty intentional in what they were looking for in the transfer portal. Obviously wanted to shore up the turnovers. They wanted to, improve the shooting, but really, improve the ball handling for this team. And that's what you saw in who they were able to go in the portal and get.
Talking now with Taylor Eldridge, we had Kevin Saul on recently, and he probably didn't leave that interview very high on me because they released their non-conference schedule for men's basketball, and it's not, in my opinion, it's not great. They do have a home game in Koch Arena against Kansas State coming up on December 21st, Jeff's birthday, by the way. But outside of that, the home part of the schedule, in my opinion, is a little lacking. Also, there's no game at Intrust Bank Arena this year for the first time in quite some time. Tell me why I shouldn't be a little disturbed by it.
Yeah, I think it's the new, just the effect of, the net scheduling, with the buckets of, quad 1, quad 2. It's just really hard to get quality games when you're playing at home. And, obviously Wichita State, their name brand has taken a little bit of a hit. It's been 7 years since the tournament win, so it's not as easy to bring in the OUs and the Oklahoma States and the K-States, Baylor, Big 12 schools that we saw. So what you're seeing is that they're replacing that interest game, and they're basically moving it to Kansas City, and they feel like they're going to be able to schedule much better competition, and then you get the neutral floor aspect of it for the net, and that makes it easier to get a quad 2 game where, if you bring, like, for instance, they're playing St. Louis and KC this year. I think St. Louis is going to be really good. First-year head coach. They're bringing over an instant impact star. I think they're going to be a top 100 team easily, maybe even top 50. So that's like a quad 2 guaranteed. If you bring that to Wichita, that's going to be quad 3, and it's going to be, a tough game. So you're not getting much juice for the squeeze, I would say. So I think it's you have to walk that line because, like you said, fans are going to get frustrated if they're playing. If you look at the season ticket schedule and you're looking forward to Alcorn State, and they are playing Northern Iowa. I think that's kind of the second year they brought in an old Missouri Valley school. I think fans enjoy that, reviving those rivalries. But you're right. All the impact games on the schedule are on neutral courts or on the road. So, I think it's a little better than maybe what you think for the net. But I'd have to agree with you. If you're just a fan and you're going to games in Wichita, I would be a little underwhelmed by the schedule. But you're right. The K-State game, if Wichita State plays as well as they think they can, and I think K-State's going to be really, really good this year, that could be a very highly, a huge showdown at Koch Arena. That was big for them to be able to bring K-State to Koch Arena and not play downtown.
And they are playing a game at Wintrust Arena against DePaul in Chicago. So maybe that will suffice for this year. Taylor, thanks. We always appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right, Taylor Eldridge from the Wichita Eagle.
Did you get the information you needed there?
Yeah, I feel good about it.
Should probably get Terry Nooner on the show pretty soon.
Well, we'll get him on.
Like a little women's basketball.
We had him on.
I know, but
we'll get him on. We'll work on it.
Season and.
From the mind of a 2-foot-tall talking spokes puppet comes this year's biggest challenge. It's time for Bob's Dare to Compare, the hottest game show on TV that asks, what happens when you compare Bob's to the competition? You get style. You get quality. You get beeps and boops and dings and whomps. And thousands of dollars in savings. Everyone's a winner when you dare to compare with Bob's Discount Furniture. Shop in store or at mybobs.com to play now.
Presented by T-Mobile, the official wireless partner of Odyssey Sports. With an awesome network and great savings, there's never been a better time to join T-Mobile. Visit your neighborhood store to make the switch today.
Troy Black joins us. He's the head football coach at Wichita Collegiate. We appreciate him doing so on a game day. They are at Rose Hill later this evening to take on the Rockets. Opened with a hard-fought 22-19 win over Wellington in Week 1. Troy, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
We're doing well. I would imagine that as opening games go, you learned a lot about your football team against Wellington last week, being a close game, a tough game. Probably a good way to get started, especially since you won, right?
Oh, yeah. No, we knew it was going to be hard. They got a great team. They got almost everybody back, and it was a game we really needed because we got a lot of guys that had a lot of playing time, but we've got new quarterback, and some of our skill guys were hurt last year and didn't get to finish the year. So it was a good test for us. We definitely learned a lot. We got a lot of things that we got to get better at, and some of the things we've been getting away with got exposed because we played a really, really good team. So it was a great teaching tape for us and for the kids. But I was real proud of how they battled. That was probably the greatest thing that we took from it was just how they stayed resilient and they just kept fighting and found a way to get it done and knowing that they didn't play their best and against a really good team. It really made for a really good week this week.
Yeah, I'm interested in, you said the things we used to get away with or that we got away with. Was this stuff obviously talking about last season and how do you now go about shoring things up now that maybe the guys can look at it on tape and see it?
Well, our depth is not. It's hard to practice. We got 50-some kids out, and we thought we had a pretty good second group as far as maybe they were ready to play, and so they're not quite ready, and so it was hard to just tell where we were based on what we had to go against. We didn't do a jamboree. We just do a couple scrimmages among ourselves, and we saw things in the tape about we're not taking good steps, we're not reading coverage very well, but in practice you get away with it because you're going against somebody that's obviously they're not good enough to start on your team. So getting to play them and the great guys that they have, it really showed what happened. Because we lost some good group guys from last year. Hudson was a great leader and quarterback for us, and so having Harry Simon now at quarterback, who was a receiver a year ago, it was just all new for the guys, and so it was just a great learning tool for our guys to really see what they need to do better and improve upon.
Troy Black is our guest. You mentioned moving a receiver to quarterback this year. Happens to be the grandson of Mr. Collegiate, Mike Gear. How'd that work out? And was that just a no-brainer that you wanted him to be the quarterback and step away from that receiver role? And how did that all come about?
Well, he was going to be our quarterback last year, and then Hudson transferred in, and so Harry's just too good of an athlete not to play, so he found his way at receiver. Technically our backup quarterback a year ago, and so going into this season, he had at least some reps last year, and we knew he was going to be the guy this year for sure. We got a couple young kids that just aren't quite ready to go yet, and he's a good athlete. He's not the biggest kid in the world, but he's a very good athlete. He's very smart. He's been our leader on defense the last 2 years as our what we call our safety, and so his leadership skills was definitely a guy that we wanted to have the ball in his hands every down. He can run. He's a good runner. Learning to be a passer. I mean, we're not going to throw like we did with Hudson, but he's getting better throwing the ball, but he's just a good all-around athlete, just very natural.
I'll say it so you won't have to, but I would say you're heavily favored tonight against Rose Hill, and then next week against El Dorado. The following week is at Andale. So in games where you are favored and maybe it's not necessarily as much about the opponent, how do you prepare for those games? And when you go into Andale or against Andale, do you prefer having games and practices leading up to those where it is kind of more about you and what you do?
Yeah, I mean, that's really what we talk to the kids about, right now anyway. Really, the first 4 games are just about us getting better. We're just trying to get better ourselves and worry about us. We know that we're going to get everybody's best shot. You can throw everybody's record out when they play collegiate because we're the private school, and Rose Hill's going to play us tough, and they're going to play us hard, and we're just trying to go out and get better. And we got some inexperience on the line. We're still trying to find pieces to our offensive line. We got a couple secondary guys that we're trying to get into the mix, and so we got some guys that we get better so we can get ready to play because we got, our district is brutal. You got Pratt, you got Cheney, of course you have Andale, which is not in district. You got Clearwater, who last week had an opening game. So every week we feel like we play somebody really good, but right now we're just focusing on trying to get better ourselves and just put that on film and go from there.
Troy Black, the head football coach at Collegiate High School. You mentioned your upcoming schedule, and it's after you get past a couple, and you start with Andale, Pratt, Clearwater, Cheney, Chaparral. That's pretty formidable. It felt like for a long time it was kind of a 2-team party between Collegiate and Andale, and here comes Cheney now, and they've kind of crashed this party. They have an exceptional program as well. I always heard 3's a crowd. This makes this very interesting, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, really it's been we've yet to live up to our billing, but, you throw Cheney in the mix, and Shelby's doing a phenomenal job over there, and they're on a roll, and they got a great thing going. And, I mean, just in this area, there's 3 really, really good 3A football teams. It's tough. It's hard. And, Andale's not going anywhere. Dylan's got that machine still rolling. So, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, man, you can't really feel like day off. You got it working, and now you got both those guys on your. We'll know at least going to the playoffs where we set and where what are we getting better at? How close have we closed the gap if we close the gap. So it'll be interesting. I mean, we're excited about playing everybody because we feel like our schedule is going to prepare us for that playoff run. But yeah, there's a couple of monsters just sitting right out there waiting on you.
And by the way, Andale and Cheney don't play in the regular season this year, but you get them both. Good job, Troy. Way to schedule them.
I know. My AD does. He's a basketball guy, so go figure.
So, can you tell us more about your personnel? We heard about the quarterback. Who else are you planning on having a good year for you this year?
Well, we got Julian Johnson, who took over for Jaden Parker when he got hurt last year, and Julian was right at 1,000 yards rushing. He's a junior. He's our little. I kind of look at the backfield like K-State. They got the big guy, the little guy. We got a big guy in Jaden Parker. We got our little guy in Julian. He's a tough runner. Receiving wise, we got Sebastian Hines Turner, who's been a starter for us last year. He's 6'5". We got Marcus Gorgeous, who's 6'4". Roman Harani is on the other side. He's 6'2", 6'1". So we got good receivers. AJ Batiste, who's kind of known for basketball, has come out and had a great week last week. Had 100 yards receiving and did some jet sweeps and did some good stuff for us. So our skill guys are really good. We're excited about our skill set. Our line, Tristan Sproul, one of the best football players I've ever coached here at Collegiate. He's undersized lineman, but he is tough, as mean, and as strong as anybody. He's a 4-year starter. He kind of holds our line down. Last week he had 5 tackles, and all of them were for loss on the D-line. He's just a great football player. So those guys are kind of the highlight of the offense. And then, like I said, Tristan on defense leads our defense. We got a kid named Cooper Arneson who's back. He tore his ACL last year. That's actually the second ACL tear he's had in his high school career, and he's just a mean, tough, physical. And we got him back, which he had a great game last week. Was in a lot of tackles. Secondary-wise, Harry, of course, like I said, leads our secondary. Marcus, started at corner last year. So did Sebastian. Cooper Brown he's a returning All-State honorable mention kid as a senior as a D-line. So those are kind of the core group of guys that we're building around. And then, got some young guys. A lot of the skill guys are young. Jaden and Julian and Seabass and AJ. Those guys are all juniors. And so we got good juniors, but our senior group is, that's the group a lot of those guys have played a lot of football for us. So that's kind of our core group of guys that we're leaning on and looking for and the leadership and all that good stuff.
All right. Well, I greatly appreciate you coming on any day, but especially on a game day. Again, Collegiate tonight at Rose Hill. Troy Black, the Spartans head coach, has been with us. Troy, thank you. Best of luck tonight and the rest of the way.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much.
All right. There you go. A little Wichita Collegiate for you. We try to spread the wealth around here.
Sure do.
As much as we can.
Did you catch my Friday 5 today?
Did not.
Well, you better get on that.
Why don't you send that to me?
Well, I don't feel like I should have to.
Well, it would help me prepare.
Well,
I don't have a lot of time to go searching for your Friday 5.
Catchitkansas.com.
Oh, I'll look into it.
You'll type that in now, and
I'll look into it when we take a break.
Good.
It's not like I wake up saying, "Well, I got to get that catch it."
Yeah, but as you get going through your day,
you just mentioned the 5 games you picked last week were routes.
Well, we'll see how they go this week.
We will. I hope Wellington Andale's on there.
Maybe, maybe not. You'll have to find out.
It is, and if it's not,
why would it be? Wellington lost last
pretty
week.
Good.
Wellington last year did not measure up with
pretty good.
Andale.
That's an interesting game. Now Andale will win it, but how competitive can Wellington be? We'll ask Joanna Chadwick that. She's our true expert.
Really? Why don't you go to catchitkansas.com?
From the mind of a 2-foot-tall talking spokes puppet comes this year's biggest challenge. It's time for Bob's Dare to Compare, the hottest game show on TV that asks, what happens when you compare Bob's to the competition? You get style. You get quality. You get beeps and boops and dings and whomps. And thousands of dollars in savings. Everyone's a winner when you dare to compare with Bob's Discount Furniture. Shop in store or at mybobs.com to play now.
Presented by T-Mobile, the official wireless partner of Odyssey Sports. With an awesome network and great savings, there's never been a better time to join T-Mobile. Visit your neighborhood store to make the switch today.
Everybody knows it. Toyota trucks are the stuff of legends. Rugged, durable, everlasting. Toyota makes trucks that just don't quit. And now Toyota is driving that legacy toward the future with two of their most powerful trucks ever, the new Tundra and the all-new Tacoma. In a half-ton Tundra, you can rule the roads. From the comfort of a spacious cabin with connected tech and plenty of hauling power, the Tundra is ready to work hard and play even harder. Or check out the all-new 24 Tacoma, redesigned and electrified to maximize your adventure. With a bevy of available off-road driving and power transfer modes, you will effortlessly crush the conditions. And with the Tacoma's reimagined interior, you'll do it in style. And right now, your local Toyota dealer has more vehicles in stock and is making delivery on new vehicles almost every day. So don't wait. Buy a Tundra or Tacoma today. Visit buyatoyota.com for deals and more. Toyota, let's go places.